Well, we'd all cut down on soda if the government imposed a calorie tax. That's according to the reporting of the New York Times newspaper, citing a new study that breaks down just how much we'd have to pay. This study finds that folks could consume nearly 10% fewer calories in drinks if they had to pay a tax of 4/100ths of a penny per calorie. So at what rate would you pay an additional 6 cents for a normal 12-ounce can of Coke or Pepsi or whatever? But for a 16-ounce bottle of vitamin water, you'd pay only 4 cents because it has fewer calories. According to the reporting of the Times, the foundation which conducted the study has a long history of pushing for taxes on soda and other sugary drinks to help fight childhood obesity. Kennedy joins us now. She's the host of The Independence at 9 o'clock Eastern Time here on, not on Fox News Channel, but up on the Fox Business Network.
The Biz.
It's not as if we don't know we have an obesity problem. We have the worst one in the world. But is this the solution for it?
No, of course it's not the solution. It's never the solution. But these government nannies are creating now a federal nanny state. And, you know, my worry has been for a long time that if the government is paying for your health care, they will want to... No.
Come on now. The government doesn't pay for our health care.
We're heading toward that single-payer system.
Because it really, well, the single-payer system is another thing, but what we have is the government setting up exchanges where we buy health insurance, which is what we've always done.
We do have exchanges where government has much greater involvement in health care.
True.
It's not necessarily government-sponsored, but it is bureaucratically
I hear you.
run.
It fits the narrative nicely.
Yeah.
But whether the government should tax us for having things that we maybe shouldn't have is another matter.
But is the government the body to decide what you should and shouldn't have in your body? I mean, that's my problem, is I see a direct connection between the government having more say in your health care and the government having more say in what you pay for things it deems bad to put in your body. The problem with these taxes on sugary sodas and food and beverages that are deemed unfit for consumption is it tends to punish poor people. And, you know, it's not people who probably could afford to hire nutritionists and others to consult what they put in their bodies. It's people who can't afford to be taxed anymore, and these sin taxes are only going to multiply.
Disproportionately, alcohol taxes, tobacco taxes, all the rest, disproportionately based on income, affect the poor more than they affect the rest of us.
And by the way, people are cutting down on smoking because it's not good for you. And childhood obesity rates are actually dropping for kids between 1 and 5.
I'm sure that's the reason some people are. In this town, cigarettes cost $15 a pack, depending on where you buy them. So
cigarettes are really expensive. People still smoke. Not as many people smoke because a lot of people have figured out, you know, yes, government is using coercion to try and bully people into stopping smoking, which is a bad thing. But I bake with sugar. I don't want the government telling me that I can't have evaporated cane sugar or brown sugar or agave, whatever I choose to put into my baked goods. I don't need someone from the California State Legislature looking over my shoulder, but that's what the Senate is doing in California. They're trying to do the exact same thing they've done in New York City, which is create a tax for sugary beverages.
If you could tax sugary beverages more, then why couldn't you tax Domino's pure cane sugar more? Or why couldn't you tax, I don't know, cheese you mentioned, or anything else that's high in calorie and high in fat?
Or a big tub of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't know if you remember in the 70s and 80s, but when we were left to our own devices, we would put, you know, a half a cup of Kool-Aid powder into a glass of water, and it was delicious.
Yes, or Pixie Sticks.
If
it had sugar, I would eat it always.
No, they still sell Pixie Sticks. They still have bake sales. And the point is, the solution does not start and end with government. It's actually parents learning about their own nutrition and teaching their children. So when I see the First Lady saying that, you know, our government taxes have to go to funding kids' school lunches, I think, no, parents need to put better stuff in their kids' lunches themselves. That's
a good idea. The Independence with a sort of libertarian look at the world,
Oddly enough, yes, it is more limited government and more do-it-yourself and pro-freedom.
If that sounds good to you, that's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central on the Fox Business Network. Just up the dial. You'll see Kennedy then.
Shep.
Good to see you.
Thank you, man.
All right. So we want to know what you think. Should the government add taxes for sugary drinks? Maybe for our own good or because they want more taxes? I don't know. Would you drink less sugary soda in that case? You can tweet us at Shep News Team. We'll try to get to some of those later in this newscast.